All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a massive question today. Does absolute truth even exist? It's one of those ideas that can feel huge, almost impossible to get your head around. But we're going to break it down by looking at it from two completely different angles. So let's get into it.
So this right here, this is the big one. And this isn't just some dusty old philosophy question. The answer, whatever it is, really changes how you see the world, how you think about knowledge, and even how you think about yourself. So where do we even begin? Well, let's start with the path of pure, cold logic.
Okay, so our first approach is what we're calling the path of logic. And the idea here is to look at the limit of impossibility. Instead of trying to prove absolute truth exists head-on, we're going to flip it. We're going to start with the opposite idea. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that there is no absolute truth. What happens then? It's kind of like being a detective, You rule out everything that's impossible, and whatever's left, no matter how wild it seems, has to be the truth. So let's follow that rabbit hole and see where it goes. And what happens is this kind of chain reaction, like a line of dominoes just waiting to fall. So follow me on this. Step 1, you say, nope, no absolutes. Click. That first domino falls, and it immediately knocks over the next one. If there are no absolutes, then nothing can be absolutely certain, can it? And if nothing's certain, well, then pretty much anything goes, which leads to step 3. Even the logically impossible becomes, well, possible, I guess? That would mean contradictions can exist. Something could be both true and not true at the same time. And that's the final domino. The whole system of logic just completely breaks down.
So let's be clear about what we mean by a logical contradiction. It's the absolute bedrock of how we understand reality. A square can also be a circle. You can't be standing up and sitting down at the exact same instant. If you allow for these kinds of contradictions, you don't unlock some deeper reality. No, the whole thing just collapses into total nonsense.
So there you have it. The very act of trying to deny absolute truth leads you down a path that ends in a complete dead end. It creates an impossible conclusion. The argument essentially proves itself by showing you that the alternative is just absurd. But, okay, that's just one path, right? That's the abstract, logical way. Let's try coming at this from a completely different direction. So now, let's try the path of experience, which is all about the awareness of being. We're going to leave all that abstract stuff behind and get way more personal. This isn't about logic puzzles anymore. This is about you. Just think about it for a second. Even if you try to doubt everything, there are some things you just can't get around. At the very least, you are aware. You know you exist, right? You're here, listening to this. You're aware of the idea of existence itself. You know there are limits to things. I mean, the very fact that you can even ask these questions, that in itself proves your awareness. That's a foundational truth you simply can't escape.
And here's where this argument gets really powerful. It asks you to think, okay, how long have you been aware of this existence? Because this isn't some new feeling, is it? It's not a flash in the pan. It's been with you for a very long time.
I mean, really think about it. An hour ago, you were aware you existed. A day ago? Yup. A year ago? Still there. 10 years ago? Absolutely. Through all the changes in your life, your job, your friends, where you live, one single thing has been constant, that fundamental awareness of just being. It's a truth that has repeated itself for you every single day of your conscious life. And this brings us to a really powerful challenge from the source material. What are you going to trust more? The assumptions and ideas you hear from other people, or this constant, persistent, personal feeling of existence that has always been with you? Which one feels more real? The whole point being made here is that your own direct experience is probably the most powerful evidence you've got.
So we've walked two very different paths. One was that winding road of abstract logic, starting from a place of what if not. The other was a super direct, internal path of just looking at your own experience. And what's so remarkable is where they both end up.
And this slide really puts it all together, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the path of logic. It's intellectual, it's abstract, and it shows that a universe without absolute truth just contradicts itself. It simply can't work. Then, on the other side, you have the path of experience, this direct, personal, undeniable reality of your own awareness. One is an argument about what must be, the other is an observation of what is.
And that's really the ultimate takeaway. It doesn't matter which way you approach it, whether you come from the outside in, using pure reason, or you come from the inside out,
Using your own consciousness as evidence, you get pushed toward the exact same conclusion. The source material makes this precise point. From any direction you choose, you arrive at the same unavoidable fact.
So we're left with this powerful idea that both logic and experience point in the same direction. And that leads to the final, and maybe the most important question. If some form of truth is truly inescapable, whether it's the rules of logic or just the simple fact that you exist, what do you do with that? What does that mean for you? Now that is something to think about.